The sun was very hot in Ado-Ekiti that afternoon. The birds stopped singing. The air was quiet. The big palace gate was open, but no one was laughing. Everybody was sad. Inside the palace, the king's body laid still on a white mat. His face looked calm, like he was sleeping, but the king was gone forever. Outside the palace, the village people gathered. Women cried. Men stood with their heads down. Even the children were quiet. Oba Adebayo, the chief elder, stood up. His voice was heavy. "Our great king is gone," he said. "He ruled us well. The gods took him at the right time." The people shouted, "May his soul rest." Oba Adebayo raised his hand. "But we have a big problem." The people looked up. Some held their breath. The gods say Prince Ifedayo must marry before he becomes king. He cannot wear the crown until he finds a wife. The crowd whispered. The women looked at each other. Some smiled, some looked worried. Every family with a young daughter started thinking. One man whispered to his wife, "Our daughter, Adesewa, may have a chance." Another woman whispered to her friend, "The prince will return from England. Maybe he will like my Morunkeji." The drum beat started slowly. Doom, doom, doom. Oba Adebayo continued, "The gods will help us. Let us wait for our prince." The people clapped slowly. The palace guards closed the gates. The sun went down, but inside many hearts, hope was rising. The next morning, the sun rose early. A long black car came slowly into Ado-Ekiti. Dust followed behind the car. Children ran after it, shouting, "The prince is back! The prince is back!" The car stopped at the palace gate. The door opened. Prince Ifedayo stepped out. He looked strong. His skin was light. For many years in England, he wore a fine white shirt and shiny black shoes. The people bowed. The women smiled. Some young girls giggled behind their mothers. The queen, Olubumi, ran forward. She hugged her son tightly. "My son, you are home," she said with tears in her eyes. "I am happy to see you, mother." Ifedayo said. Oba Adebayo came close. "Welcome, my prince." "Thank you, chief," the prince said. He looked around and saw the sad faces. "I heard about father. It pains my heart." The queen touched his shoulder. "Your father was a great man. Now it is your time." Prince Ifedayo nodded slowly. "I will serve the people well." Oba Adebayo cleared his throat. "But my prince, there is one thing. You must find a wife before your coronation. The gods have spoken." The prince looked surprised. "A wife? So soon?" "Yes, my son," the queen said softly. "The gods say you must marry before you become king. It is our custom." Prince Ifedayo sighed. He looked at the sky. The sun was hot on his face. "Mother, how will I find the right woman? I do not know the heart of these girls." Oba Adebayo smiled. "The gods will help you, my prince. We will hold a dance competition. Every young woman will come. They will dance. The gods will speak through your heart. You will see the one who is true. The prince looked at the people. Many young girls smiled at him. Some waved shyly. He nodded. Very well. Let the dance begin. I will find my queen. The drums started beating again. The whole village started talking. Some with joy, some with secret plans. Behind the crowd, two young women, Yetunde and Shade, whispered to each other. This is our chance. Yetunde said, we must win. Shade added, by any means. Far away, under a mango tree, a stranger watched everything quietly. His eyes were sharp. His mouth curved into a small smile. He whispered to himself, this will be interesting. Far away, in the kingdom of Ipetu, Princess Abike sat quietly in her big room. She looked out of the window. The sky was blue. Birds flew around, but her mind was not at peace. Her father, King Obadina, walked into the room. He wore his royal beads. His voice was strong. Abike, my daughter, he said. Yes, father, she replied softly. You have grown into a fine woman. The prince of Ado-Ekiti is looking for a wife. Abike looked up quickly. Father, but I am a princess. I cannot join the village girls. King Obadina smiled. That is why you must go. If you show him your crown, he will only see your title. I want him to see your heart. Abike's eyes became wide. You want me to hide who I am? Yes, the king said. Go as a simple girl. If he chooses you, it will be because of your true self, not your royal name. Abike thought for a moment. Her heart beat fast. She had never done something like this before. Father, what if they find out? Do not fear, my child. The gods will protect you. You will see the prince as yourself and not as a princess. Abike nodded slowly. I will do it. The next morning, Abike packed her small bag. She wore a plain wrapper, a simple blouse, and tied a small scarf on her head. No gold, no beads, no fine shoes. She looked like an ordinary village girl. As she walked out of the palace, her father whispered, Remember, my daughter, let your heart speak. She smiled and left for Ado-Ekiti, her heart beating like the village drums. The palace square in Ado-Ekiti was full. The drums were beating fast. The people stood in circles, waiting for the girls to come. The first girl walked into the square. Her name was Yetunde. She wore a shiny red dress. Her face was covered with heavy makeup. She smiled and waved at the people. Some women clapped. See how fine she looks, a woman whispered to her friend. Yes, the friend replied. The prince may like her. Then the second girl came in. It was Shade. She wore a golden gown that sparkled in the sun. She raised her hands and blew kisses to the crowd. The young boys shouted, Fine girl! Fine girl! The crowd cheered. Mothers looked at their daughters and whispered, See how she carries herself? Finally, the third girl walked in slowly. It was Abike. She wore a plain wrapper, a small blouse and old slippers. Her scarf was tied simply on her head. She stood quietly and looked at the ground. The people became silent. Who is this one? A man whispered. She looks poor. Another said, she cannot win. One woman said, shaking her head. But high up on the palace balcony, Prince Ifedayo was watching. His eyes stayed on Abike for a long time. He said nothing, but inside his heart, something moved. Oba Adebayo whispered to the queen, "Look at that one. She is different." The queen nodded. Yes, she carries no pride. Behind the crowd, Yetunde and Shade looked at Abike and whispered to each other. "Who is she?" Yetunde asked. Shade hissed. "She is no threat. Look at her poor clothes." Yetunde smiled. Good, one less person to worry about. But far away, behind the tall palm trees, the stranger who watched yesterday was still there. His sharp eyes followed Abike. He whispered to himself again, "This girl will bring fire to Ado-Ekiti." The drum stopped. The people waited. The dance would soon begin. The drum started beating louder. Doom, doom, doom. The crowd clapped and shouted. The air was full of excitement. Everyone was ready to see who would dance best. Prince Ifedayo sat on his throne, watching with sharp eyes. The queen, Olubumi, sat beside him. Oba Adebayo and the elders sat too. Oba Adebayo stood up. "Let the dance begin," he shouted. The first girl, Yetunde, stepped forward. She smiled widely and moved her body fast. Her shiny red dress glittered under the sun. She waved her hands high, turned quickly, and kicked her legs. The people clapped. Some shouted, "Beautiful!" A woman whispered, "The prince will like her." After her, Shade stepped forward. She wore her golden gown. She moved her hips from side to side. She spun around slowly, then faster. She lifted her arms like a queen. The crowd shouted louder, "Shade, Shade!" Even some of the elders nodded. Then it was Abike's turn. She stepped forward quietly. She did not smile. She closed her eyes for a moment. The drums beat softly now. She started moving slowly. Her steps light like feathers. Her hands moved like a bird flying. Her feet touched the ground slowly, like she was walking on air. The crowd became quiet. Even the wind stopped blowing. The women stopped whispering. The men stopped clapping. Everyone just watched. Prince Ifedayo sat up. His heart was beating fast. His eyes stayed on Abike. She danced like she was not on the ground but floating. She dances from her heart. The queen whispered to Oba Adebayo. Oba Adebayo nodded. Yes, the gods are watching. At the back of the crowd, Yetunde and Shade looked at Abike with cold eyes. This poor girl is trying to steal the show. Yetunde whispered. Shade frowned. Let her dance. She will not win. But Prince Ifedayo could not take his eyes off Abike as she danced. It felt like the whole world went silent. When she finished, she bowed her head and stepped back. The drum stopped. The people stayed silent for a moment, then started clapping. One old woman said, "I have never seen a dance like that." After the dance, the elders stood and went to the prince. They formed a small circle and spoke in low voices. "My prince," Oba Adebayo said, "you have seen them all. The people wait. Who do you choose?" The prince stood up slowly. His eyes moved from Yetunde to Shade and then to Abike. He pointed at Abike. I choose her. The people were silent for a second, and then they shouted loud, "Oh, the prince has chosen." Some people jumped, some clapped, drums started again, but Yetunde and Sade's faces changed. They pulled each other aside. How can he pick that poor girl? Yetunde hissed. She tricked him. Sade said, "We must do something." Meanwhile, Abike knelt down, covering her face with her hands. Tears rolled down her cheeks, but they were happy tears. The queen smiled at her son. "The gods have led you well." Oba Adebayo raised his staff. "The gods have spoken. Ado-Ekiti will have a new queen." The drums played louder. The people danced around, but behind their smiles, two hearts were full of jealousy. And behind a tall tree, the stranger still watched quietly, rubbing his chin. He whispered, "Now the real story will begin." That night, when the moon was high, Yetunde and Sade met behind the palace. The place was dark. The trees moved slowly in the night wind. Yetunde looked around to be sure no one was watching. "We cannot let her become our queen," Yetunde said in a low voice. Sade's eyes were sharp. "Yes, this Abike is hiding something. She dances too well for a poor village girl," Yetunde added. "No village girl can dance like that. She must have a secret," Sade said. "We must find out what it is." They waited in silence for a moment. Then a tall man appeared from the dark. His name was Gora. People feared him. He did bad things for money. "Are you sure he can help us?" Yetunde asked. Sade nodded. "He has never failed." Gora stood before them, his voice deep. "What do you want?" "We want you to follow that girl, Abike," Yetunde said. "Watch her. Find out who she really is. If she has a secret, bring us proof," Sade added. Gora smiled. His teeth showed in the moonlight. "If you pay me, I will find the truth. Money is not the problem," Yetunde said. "Just bring us what we need." Gora nodded. "Good. Leave the rest to me." He turned and disappeared into the night like a shadow. The two girls smiled at each other. "Soon she will be disgraced," Yetunde whispered, "and we will take her place." Sade replied. The palace was quiet, but evil was growing in the dark. For many days, Gora followed Abike. He hid behind trees. He watched her at the market. He listened when she spoke with people, but she did nothing wrong. One evening, as the sun was going down, Gora followed her again. This time, Abike walked far from the palace. She went into a small bush path. Gora followed quietly. Abike stopped under a big mango tree. Soon, a man came out from the bush. He wore a dark robe. His eyes looked around quickly. Abike whispered, "You came?" "Yes, Princess Abike," the man said. "Your father sent me. He wants to know if you are safe." Gora, hiding behind the tree, opened his eyes wide. "Princess Abike?" He whispered to himself. "I am fine," Abike said. "But no one must know I am a princess. The prince must choose me for my heart, not my crown." The man nodded. "Your father is proud of you." After they spoke, the man left and Abike returned to the palace quietly. But Gora was already smiling. "Aha! She is not a poor girl. She is a princess." He ran quickly back to Yetunde and Shade. He knocked on their door late at night. When they opened the door, Gora said with pride, "I have the truth. She lied to the prince." Yetunde's eyes grew big. "Tell us." "She is Princess Abike from the kingdom of Ikpetu. She is no poor girl." Shade clapped her hands. "We have caught her." Yetunde laughed. "At the coronation, we will tell everyone. She will be shamed. The prince will never marry her." They all laughed together. The night was full of evil plans. But far away, under the same moon, Abike prayed softly, "O gods, let truth win." The stars twinkled quietly above her. The big day finally came. The sun was bright. The whole village of Ado-Ekiti gathered at the palace square. The drums were beating fast. People wore their best clothes. They danced and sang. Prince Ifedayo sat on a golden chair. His crown was shining on a white cloth beside him. The queen, Olubumi, and Oba Adebayo sat close, smiling. Abike stood beside the prince, looking beautiful but humble. Her heart was beating fast. Oba Adebayo raised his staff. "Today, we give our prince the crown. Today, he becomes king." The people shouted, "Long live the king!" The drummers beat the drums harder. The prince stood up and reached for the crown. Just as he was about to place the crown on his head, Yetunde jumped up quickly. "My prince, wait!" she shouted. The drum stopped. Everyone turned to look. Yetunde pointed at Abike. Her voice was loud. "My prince, this girl lied to you. She is not a poor village girl. She is Princess Abike from the kingdom of Ikpetu." The people shouted in surprise, "Ah, a princess!" The queen opened her mouth wide. The elders started talking in low voices. The prince looked at Abike. His face was full of surprise. "Is this true?" he asked softly. Abike knelt down quickly. Her voice was calm but full of tears. "Yes, my prince, it is true. I am Princess Abike, but I hid my title because I wanted you to see my heart, not my crown." The crowd became quiet. Nobody moved. Even the birds stopped singing. The air was heavy. The prince looked at her for a long time. His heart was beating hard, but before he could speak, something strange happened. Suddenly, a loud voice came from the crowd. "Stop this marriage at once!" Everyone turned quickly. A tall man in dark clothes walked forward. His skin was dark. His eyes were red like fire. He held a big staff in his hand. The queen screamed, "It is Baba Olokun, the angry native doctor." The people moved back. Some children cried. Some women held their babies tightly. Baba Olokun raised his staff high. His voice was strong. "If this marriage happens, a great secret will be exposed. Blood will flow in Ado-Ekiti." The drum stopped completely. The wind blew softly. Nobody moved. Even the prince stood still, his mouth open, but no words came out. Oba Adebayo stood up. "Baba Olokun, what secret do you speak of?" But Baba Olokun did not answer. He only pointed his staff at Abike. "Do not allow this marriage," he shouted. "The gods are angry." The whole village froze in fear. The people looked at the prince. They looked at Abike. They looked at Baba Olokun. The air was heavy. Thank you for watching. Find out what happened in our next episode. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next shocking part of this story. Drop your thoughts in the comments. What do you think will happen next? Stay tuned for the next episode. It's going to blow your mind.